Hey gamers, Lord Arcane here. Today we're going to talk about Lost Ark, mostly. Let me set the premise on this. We talked on Tuesday about EverQuest and how Amazon was working with Daybreak, and they're hiring game engineers and things like that. So we were wondering what the game would look like. And somebody pointed out that they weren't really happy with the two games that Amazon has done, so I figured I'd take a look at them. And the two that I know are done by Amazon, I should say, are New World, which I have not played. It's not a free-to-play, so I'm broke, so we'll skip on that one for now. But it has 193,000 reviews, but they're mixed reviews. Those are Steam reviews, specifically. So I can't tell you a whole lot about that one. The other one was Lost Ark. And these numbers come from earlier today. About 16 hours ago. It's been a long day. Lost Ark at that time had 152,000 reviews, but they were mostly positive. And it is a free-to-play. So I figured I'd load it up and look at it. Now, first point of warning there. When I say I loaded it up, I mean it loads very slow. It's a big one to install. That's not what I'm getting at, though. But when you launch it, be patient with it. Go to the bathroom. Go to dinner. Okay, maybe not go to dinner, but you get the idea. It takes a little while, so don't panic. It has a anti-cheat software in there, I think, is what's taking so long. But it takes a while to load. The hotkey setup within it is not bad. It takes a little getting used to. You use QWNER and ASDF for just about everything with your left hand. Everything in combat, I should say. And, of course, your right hand will be on your mouse. It is an Asian action RPG. For those of you who aren't familiar with them, it's not the first one in the series, or the first one in the style by any stretch. But if you're not familiar with it, the closest thing that a lot of you would be familiar with would be Diablo. It's the same basic premise, 45 degree down, bird's eye. In this case, it's actually got a lot in common with Diablo 2. Your biggest enemy are demons. When I'd first heard about the game, one of my friends had concerns about free-to-play being more pay-to-win. I can see that, as far as a concern, a lot of free-to-play games are. This one's got an interesting approach to it. I'll get to that in a minute, though. The actual characters, right now there are 5 classes and roughly a dozen or so subclasses, split fairly unevenly among them. Some have 3, some have 1. I have now played for about 23 hours. There are a lot of instance dungeons. Not all of them are really good for group access. One of the better instance dungeons that I've seen are called secret dungeons. You find treasure maps to them as you play. They'll be specific for an equipment level. So like my 33rd level mage here has got an item that's way too low for her, but she'll probably pound it out anyway. You can always sell the stuff. Although I don't have a big problem with money. It kind of grows on trees. The main currency in it is silver pieces. It costs, to travel around, it works a very similar system to Diablo. You got waypoints that you find and you bind to you and can teleport to them. You can teleport from anywhere to them. And there's a cost, but it's, minor amount, like less than 100 for most cases, silver pieces. Traveling from where I've been at, in the game, about the 4th chapter, for lack of a better word, to the very, very beginning, cost me 120 silver. I've got over 400,000. It's shared among my characters, by the way. Let's see. PvE is the vast majority of it. It looks like PvE's kills are shared if you at least contribute heavily to the kills. This comes up in boss monsters. You'll have to kill Lieutenant Bozo and Captain Who Knows, etc. as you go through. And it's nice that you're not competing quite that hard for names. Even in the open world. Of course, in the instances, it's all yours. PvP, it looks like you've got some PvP in Proving Grounds. I haven't actually participated in it yet. It's not anything near mandatory. And that shows up pretty much at the end of the 3rd major chapter. Moving right along. Pets. You got pets just like Diablo. You're not going to see a whole lot of action, by the way, on my screen. Technically, I'm playing the game, but I'm on my own private island, and so there aren't going to be anybody walking around. Yes, you get your private island. I'm not going to tell you how you get it, but it's good to know people in power. You'll figure it out when you get there. Level skill system, hybrid. Kind of works Diablo 2-ish, and you spend your points on skills, and then you've got a few options within a skill like a Diablo 3's runes. Equipment has a minimum level and a power or an item level. They're not the same thing. I might have an item that requires level 20 to use, and it might be an equipment level 100. That equipment level plays in a lot in dungeon availability and where you can go, what you can do. Mounts are a big part of the game, help you get around. And you get one really early. Like the first time you can actually see another player, you're getting a mount. If you go through the tutorial, and I highly recommend it, by the way, for plot reasons, as well as you get some cute little gear. But you go through the tutorial, and you go through one little minor area, and boom, there's your mount. Several quests may seem a little intimidating for those of us who've played other games like EverQuest. One of the early quests that you can actually play with multiple players is collect 100 bird feathers. Fortunately, the birds drop about 15 apiece, so it doesn't take very long. It seems to be random, but you get the idea. Boss monsters also show up on the map. They're very easy to find. They're a head that moves around on the map. So you'll see them if you're even close to them. Some drop loot, some are journal entries, which is kind of an achievement thing. All right, now talking about the play to win part. The reason why I say it's not really that way, it may have been initially, and it looks like the big stuff at the end is the PvP stuff, etc. is after you hit level 50. But the devs are actually, in their roadmap for April and May, are kind of shifting away from that. Like in April's roadmap, and if you'll notice, we're kind of getting near the tail end of April now. So by the end of the month, we're supposed to have another class option, which is a variety of the martial artist that uses a glaive. That ought to be entertaining. And then some mid-level content. You have places to hunt in the middle, whatnot. They're holding off. May's supposed to have more of the same, and they're holding off on the late stuff until more players are ready for it, but they're not pushing it. So you're looking maybe late May is when they're projecting there'll be enough people to really worry about it. To maybe, I'd say probably more June, possibly even July before that hits. We don't have specific dates on that far out. So right now, I don't have any gripes against it. I can see why somebody's familiar and more, shall we say, fond of the EverQuest variety, the first person, or even over the shoulder MMOs like World of Warcraft and EverQuest would see this differently. This one's more like an MMO Diablo, or as I said, it's really an Asian action RPG. But I'd say give it a check, see if you like it. As I said, with the 23 or so hours I've played it, I've really enjoyed it. My wife's enjoyed it. Between the two of us, we've played all of the classes, not all the sub-varieties, though. So we got a feel for them and what they can do. I've got the ones I've played, my big one's a mage, and I've played a martial artist, and I've played an assassin. My assassin just shreds things. My mage just doesn't leave anything standing. It's quite interesting. My wife is really enjoying her gunslinger. So give it a look. See what you think about it. If you have any questions, comments, whatnot, put it in the description or put it in the comments, and I'll do what I can to answer them. This is always evolving as I learn more about the game, but that's what I found out so far. I wanted to get it out to you guys as quickly as I could. Hope you guys game well, have fun, talk to you later.